Welcome, everyone, to Atlanta Motor Speedway, the final race in the Winstel Cup Series season. The chase for the Winstel Cup comes down to one 80-lap event. Jacob Potak, a 94-point lead. The pressure's off on him. All he needs to do is finish 22nd or better to become champion of the 2025 season. It is all to play for the Christian Budd and Dylan Roberts. They're the only ones that have a mathematical chance, but things need to fall their way. We're glad you're tuning in to Winstel on ABN for one final time in 2025. 34 cars, and last time we counted, ready to go in this race. More could have joined in afterwards. Qualifying underway, that's why the track is a little bit quieter now. But let's go ahead and jump in to a little bit of what we're looking at here tonight. Jacob Potak, as we mentioned, a pretty sizable gap going into this race. 94 points. As we mentioned, that's basically if you finish 22nd or better, Potak's champion. Potak's not had a terrible race so far this season, so likelihood of that's pretty high. Christian Budd, the defending champion, trying to hold on to that crown. He's got a lot of work to do. He needs Potak to finish 23rd or worse and win himself to try to get that championship back-to-back. Dylan Roberts, once again, close, but it seems not close enough. 122 points out going into this race. He needs a little bit more of a miracle. Those fourth on down, mathematically, have no chance. Eliminated last time out in Phoenix. Sean Pelleg, Emily Howe, Gabriel Mauricio. They were all eliminated. Nick Doucette, Jeremy Davis, Brandon McKissick, and Tyler Head all eliminated before Phoenix last week. Best of the rest, currently Jose Solis Jr., who is in the field tonight, was not racing at Phoenix last week. Christina Ryan got another top 15 finish in Phoenix. We'll look to try to improve on that tonight to try to take that 11th spot away from Solis. Ryan Hill also in that conversation, as is Brennan McGee and Kyle Benson. Almost a 120-point gap between Benson and Evan Locke, who's going to be sitting pretty firmly in the 16th position in points unless something dramatic happens here. Lucas Davila in 17th ahead of Philip Snipes, Austin Reedy, and Jordan Barabee. All of this important. We'll see more of this at the end of the race because this determines the drawing order for car selection for next season, which is going to be throwing back to 2007. So all that's important. We get to know that information tonight. And obviously, we'll kind of scroll on down here. Some drivers that are pretty safe in the top 35. Tom Willett, Kirk Marble, Larry Pace, Alex Bates, Brandon Cruz, Parker Alexander, Brandon Coppinger, Craig Lautenslager, Mike Rasmus, Corey Cook. They're all pretty safe. The next conversation is going to be the top 35. Right now, Ryan Andrews in that top 35. Chris Champeau wants to jump ahead of him. Needs to gain 20 points to do so. Corey Steinhauser, not the safest either. Tyler Murray, Josh Chen, Steve Brown, all trying to stay in that top 35. Griesbaum trying to make his way in as well, sitting 37th here in present tonight. 34 cars on the track. Griesbaum, by the way, 34th on the track. He'll be the last car in the field. We'll go ahead and jump into the full qualifying results. It is the championship front runners at the front of the field here. Christian Budd, pole position. Jacob Potak in second, ahead of Larry Pace, Evan Locke. They'll make up row two. Parker Alexander, we talked about his season, how it's been the no good, very bad season for the 8 car. He sits in row 3 alongside Sean Pelleg, a little bit of a silver lining. See if that continues here in this race. See if he can end the season on a high note. Lucas Davila, the Argentinian, in 7th alongside Ryan Hill for row 4. Gabriel Mauricio and Chris Champeau. We talked about Champeau needing some good points to get into the top 35. He's starting top 10 to do just that tonight. Jordan Barabee, Nick Doucette in row 6. Ahead of Alex Bates and Dylan Roberts. Dylan Roberts not where he wants to be. He's going to have some work ahead of him if he's trying to get up to the top 2 with the other championship front runners. Tom Willett and Craig Lautenslager, they're in row 8 ahead of Emily Howe and Christina Ryan. The 2 Charlotte natives sitting in row 9 Jose Solis Jr., Brendan McGee in row 10. So the 88, the 29, and the 9 all fighting for something pretty close together in the 9th and 10th rows here tonight. The next page, row 11, Austin Reedy and Jeremy Davis sitting in row 11. They're 21st and 22nd on the grid. Corey Cook, who was suspended for Phoenix, did not race last week, back on the racetrack, qualified 23rd alongside Kyle Benson in row 12. Brendan Coppinger, Matt Skipper in row 13. Then it's Tyler Murray and Kirk Marble in row 14. Brandon McKissick and Philip Snipes make up the top 30 in row number 15. Two more rows to go over here. Andrew Griesbaum, who did not set a lap time here. It looks like he's organized to be in the 31st position. He is actually starting from the pit lane, giving him that 34th spot. Ken Huff, Corey Steinhauser, and Hayden Repas all move up a spot as a result. But as we mentioned for Jacob Potak, all he needs to do is finish 22nd or better. He has been clinical and precise this season in getting the points needed, even if it's not a race win. He's always been able to kind of find a good result out of it, even in tumultuous races. It should not be a surprise. Christian Budd, he's got to make a lot of things happen. The best thing he can do right now is just go out and win. And that's what he is going to try to do. Larry Pace will try to spoil that. The winner last season here in Atlanta. Everyone wants to end the season on a high note. And a race win here would do just that. We're glad you're with us here for Winstel on ABN. 80 laps to finish off the season and crown a champion. It's your two championship frontrunners at the top of the standing order. The pace car pulls in, the green flag flies, and away we go. Christian Budd will lead lap number 1 here in Atlanta. Potak in second, Larry Pace third. That's as they started. A little bit further down the running order, Sean Pellig up 2 spots from 6th to 4th. Evan Locke and Parker Alexander both losing a spot to him. And Alexander a little loose at a turn 2. Will drop a few spots on that inside line. Lost out to Davila, losing out to Barabee, losing out to the 24 of Nick Doucette. Everyone fanning out, though. Traditional Atlanta fashion from back in 2005, the old scan, bumpy Atlanta. So many photo finishes, including last season here in Winstel when Larry Pace grabbed his first career Winstel win. Excited to be here again, and he's showing it. He's in the third spot right now. The Canadian driver trying to make his way forward on the championship front runners, but here comes the 48 of Pellig. The Canadian and the Michigan, they're battling for the third spot. Ahead of Gabriel Mauricio, the Brazilian. He has moved his way into the top 5 in a hurry. He's also dispatched Evan Locke. Evan Locke qualified his season best, getting top 4 here in Atlanta. He's not qualified top 5 all season, and he's struggling to maintain that at the moment, sitting in 6th. Keep an eye on that Blue Deuce, though, the number 2 for Penske Racing. He is strong at this racetrack, finished strong here last season as well, and he needs a good result. Ryan Hill in 7th, also looking to have a good result as well. Traditionally, when he is on the racetrack, he is in the fringe of the top 10. This is no different so far. Sitting in that 7th spot. The issue with Ryan Hill isn't his performances, it's attendance. Being a part-time driver, as a 7 car typically is, in Robbie Gordon fashion. Behind Ryan Hill, it is a little bit of a madhouse at the moment. You have Davila, you have Barabee, Doucette, Alexander, and Champeau all in the charge, trying to get into the top 10 or stay there. People cheering on the 55. Corey Steinhauser, he's up 2 spots. He's up to 30th. He's gotten around Matt Skipper and Ken Huff. That is correct. So he is in the top 30, trying to chase down Brandon Coppinger. Christian Budd has Larry Pace for company. Jacob Potak not really keeping the 9 car behind him too awful much there. Again, Potak does not need to worry about these position battles so far. His objective is pretty simple. Finish the race, and likely finish the race on the lead lap is it. So he's going to be taking it a little bit easier here. He's probably not worried so much about that race win at the moment. As a racing driver, you want the race win, but his fight's a little bit more big picture. You're looking at the championship. That's what you're here for. That's what you put your entire year into. All your Sundays, all the practices go into getting a championship. So if you have to give up a race win, Potak's got several of his own already. He can probably forgive himself a little bit. 7 pole positions, 6 race wins. Trouble Alexander. And caution is out for the first time tonight for Alexander. It took us a little bit to try to get to him there as he was falling down the order. And the stat line tells the tale of his story, of his season, and so does that spin. From the top 10 down to 33rd. Not a great place to be. Parker Alexander. We'll go ahead and we'll take a look at what happened here. Keep an eye on the number 8 machine. He's already loose. We saw this a couple laps ago. He had already gotten loose on his own before. Did he get help from Mumehao, his teammate? I don't believe so. This is from the spotter cam above the broadcast booth here in Atlanta. He is already loose. Entering turn 1. He is already loose. He clips the white line, heavily so. Emily Howe tries to get off the gas, trying to avoid her teammate there. Davila, the Argentinian there, that 34 car. Slips in front of Nick Doucette. Back up the racetrack he goes to draw the caution for the first time. And that's where the caution needed to come out. Having a car perpendicular or backwards on the racing surface. Not a safe place to be. I do want to back it up, though, one more time here. And I want to see how early he got really loose there. It looks like he got loose trying to get to the bottom of the racetrack. Do we have an onboard here with him? I think we do. Yeah, he's trying to chase it down the racetrack here. Flips the white line with those left side tires and chases it, chases it, chases it, chases it. Can't save it. Close call there for a couple drivers. Brandon Cruz, one of them, trying to avoid the Budweiser Chevrolet. Cars in the pit lane. Parker Alexander, one of them. Most of the field came down pit lane except for your top 2, Philip Snipes and Hayden Repas, doing their typical work, staying out, grabbing some bonus points for leading a lap in the case of Philip Snipes. And they will come down pit lane this time and shuffle themselves to the back of the field. And that will give it to Jeremy Davis, who took 2 tires on his pit stop here. Most drivers took 4. Only a couple drivers took 2. Jeremy Davis and Jose Solis Jr. both took 2 tires. And that is not a surprise if you've seen these 2 race in the mile and a half. They are pretty prolific, for those 2 tire stops. See if it works out early. If it works out early, pull it off later on as well. Davis up 21 spots, Solis up 14. Both of them needed to gain positions. They were stuck mid-pack going into this first caution. We get ready to go green on lap 13. of 80 here. One caution, a single car spin for Parker Alexander. Andrew Griesbaum officially failing to start this race in 34th. I do not believe he will score points as a result, so he will not have a chance to score top 35 for next season. He'll have to try to race his way in for next season's Daytona 500. 33 cars, though, they are present. Philip Snipes, Hayden Repas, and Corey Steinhauser rounding up the back of the field behind Parker Alexander. It is Davis, Budd, Potak, Pace, Solis, your top 5. Mauricio, Locke, Peleg, Ryan, and Hill, your top 10. As the pace car gets ready to take that left-hand dive onto pit lane. First restart of the night at the control of the number 4 car here in Atlanta. Green flag flies, and away we go. And 2 tires did not launch well. Top 2 in the championship immediately said, see ya, bye. The Potak, now that he's got Christian Budd back in front of him, going to try to go for that race lead on the 17 car. Keep an eye on that 09 as well. Larry Pace staying ahead of Jose Solis Jr., who seems to be a little bit more in tune with those 2 tires that he took. Those right side tires, a little more important than the left sides. But we'll see how it plays out for both the 4 and the 29 as this run goes along. Davis is slotted in pretty securely in 3rd at this point for the time being. Solis stays top 5 ahead of Mauricio. But Christian Budd remains your race leader after the restart. Pull up a little bit on board here. This is Nick Doucette. Right now sitting outside the top 10 in 12th. There's Christina Ryan just in front of him. Ryan Hill, the 7 car, off to the left. This is a battle for 10th, 11th, and 12th right now on the racetrack. Doucette getting around for 11th place. And you see how loose he got. That was wild. On board right beside the driver's helmet on the seat rest. Ryan Hill trying to use the inside lane to drive through the corner there in 3 and 4. The outside lane, more momentum, a little bit higher speed on the exit. Part of what makes Atlanta so special. But the inside lane right now looks to be the dominant lane early on these fresher tires. We'll see if that swings back around. Hill's not able to clear Ryan. You see that battle up ahead. And Doucette in a battle of his own with Dylan Roberts, who has been struggling to just break into the top 10 here. Doucette gets clear of Roberts and moves to the bottom of the racetrack. But you see him sawing at the wheel. You see how much that wheel is moving back and forth, especially leaning a little bit more to the right in the corners. Car is very loose on the bumps here in Atlanta. He's going to try to get to the underneath of Ryan Hill, and he does. Great job so far for the 24 camp. And we just watched him go into the top 10 with those couple moves as he tries to charge his way back forward. Great stuff there. Davila next in that 34 car, sitting in 9th. And then Evan Locke in the top 8, just ahead of Davila. A little bit of a hornet's nest behind Ryan Hill, and Lehal's gone around Christina Ryan, 3 wide into turn 3. That is Willett, that is Champeau, that is Barabee all together. Brendan McGee in that mix as well. Alex Bates. Brandon McKissick also in this mix, the 42 car. And Kyle Benson all in this pack. That stretches all the way down to 21st place. Kirk Marble watching from a little bit more of a distance. Latency blink for the 21 of Willett, the Wood Brothers Racing car. And Christina Ryan going 3 wide, forcing her way around the 7 of Ryan Hill. No love lost there between those two. A couple of skirmishes earlier this season. Ryan Hill tried putting Ryan in the safe barrier, and Ryan said, nah, I'm good, and pushed Ryan Hill down to the white line, and he'll lose several spots. Last race of the season, Christina Ryan not holding back on the racetrack, up to 13th. After shuffling the 7 car back with elbows out, crash in the back. And who is that? That is the 55 of Steinhauser backwards. That is Steinhauser. That is Coppinger involved. Second caution of the night on lap 22. Not a good sounding 55 car for Steinhauser. Let's see what happened here. And this is not Steinhauser's fault. He has nowhere to go. This is Coppinger and Corey Cook. So let's see what happens here. We'll have to back it up a little bit. Replay caught the very tail end of it. And we'll play it in slow motion. Really good angle we have here in the infield. Going through turns 3 and 4. A little bit of latency for Coppinger. Corey Cook on the yellow line. That's an awkward situation to be in if you're Corey Cook. 66 is blinked in and out. He blinks back in, and his bumper's over top of yours. That Skipper gets a huge piece of that as well, 37. Ken Huff able to slow down that 10 car further back. It's not a whole lot Corey Cook can do in that situation with that latency. But it's also not a great feeling either. On board with Steinhauser. See how quickly things kind of turn around there for the worse. Copపింger's going to think that he got turned. Corey Cook's going to be like, hey, I couldn't see you, and when you came back, you were basically on top of me. Fortunately, only so much that can be done in that situation. Several cars in pit lane. Expect repairs to be done there. Hayden Repas will stay out this time. He did not lead a lap under the first caution. So he's going to grab those 5 bonus points for leading a lap before handing it off to his countryman, Larry Pace, who will take over the race lead. 2-tire stop for the 09 and the 48. As we walk through here. So the 89 comes down pit lane. Larry Pace will inherit the race lead. It is Pace, Peleg, Bud, Potak, and Davis, your top 5. 3 cars took 2 tires on that last stop. Larry Pace, Sean Peleg, as we mentioned before. Chris Champeau also took tires. 2 tires on his stop. Everyone else took 4. So everyone playing the trap position game. Ozzy Solis Jr., that caution bailed him out. He's able to take 4 tires on this stop. So did Jeremy Davis. This time it is Larry Pace's turn to do so, and the 48 did so in exchange as well. Not a lot to speak of on the championship battle right now, with Bud and Potak top 5, still 3rd and 4th. Potak, as we mentioned, 22nd or better, he's champion regardless of what Christian Bud does. And that is certainly true right now. In fact, the gap, looking at your live points at the moment, only changed a little bit. Bud so far has led the most laps, so it's given that to him so far, but you can tell even with all the bonus points in hand, almost 80 points the gap. He's only made up 15 points so far on the 22. He needs a lot more. And he needs a lot of help. Pace car takes the hard left. into pit lane. It's Larry Pace on the green flag, and away we go. Second restart of the night. It is Pace in control, the defending winner of this race from last season. 48, Sean Pelleg. His record also pretty impeccable this season. 2 race wins, looking for a third. Got loose there out of turn 2 on those 2 tires. Did not serve him well. He'll drop spots early to both the championship frontrunners. Here comes the 4 of Davis, the 29 of Solis, and the 24 of Doucette. All 3 full-time Hendrick Motorsports cars running really well right now in the top 10 once again. 5th, 7th, and 8th so far. They're all giving chase to Larry Pace. 3 wide behind Evan Locke. It's McKissick, Davila, and Howe. McKissick got clear both. Cars up in the fence. That is Willett, and that is McGee. But they both kept it straight, so we stay green. This is a battle on the fringe of the top 10, looking on the outside. McKissick in 10th. Howe, Davila, and Roberts outside the top 10 as things sit. Christina Ryan 14th. Chris Champeau 15th. Just behind as well. Up at Ryan Hill, his contact with Christina Ryan shuffled him backwards, and he has kept falling backwards. 22nd now is where he's at in that 7th car behind McGee, and trying in vain to make some progress forward. Could not get around McGee after he tagged the wall, and still struggling here. Alex Bates, the 40 car in 20th for comparison. Howe trying to find a way around Mauricio and Evan Locke. Sent to the inside of the 2 car. Almost a little bit of contact there, a little bit of side drafting as they come out of turn 4. Locke stays ahead. Here comes McKissick. And Howe trying to move forward. So is the 42. And instead of the hold station there for a moment as it goes single file. Emily once again back to the white line. McKissick in the middle. Locke coming down to cover off that momentum. And it works out pretty well. Howe will lose touch. Howe's going to go for us a ride. So does Evan Locke. Everyone checks up here. We stay green. The biggest loser in that was the 2 of Evan Locke. Rolling around the bottom of the racetrack here down in 32nd. Matt Skipper out of the race after that caution on lap 22, that second yellow. We do not have a third on the racetrack at the moment. But that will separate the top 10 from just about everybody else. Davila in 11th. Trying to work around and try to get back to Dylan Roberts here. The top 9 pretty well clear from McKissick on up. Roberts, Davila, Howe, Barabee, and Kyle Benson all now in line. Christina Ryan also in that fray, battling her teammate at the moment. Here comes Parker Alexander, the 8 car, that Budweiser Chevrolet. Frantic moment there. Evan Locke, the biggest loser out of all of that, down in 32nd. He was, I thought, ahead of all of the drama. He was the one leading. It looked like there was contact between the 6 of Emily Howell, sorry, the 6 of Dylan Roberts, the 15 of Emily Howell, the 42 of Brandon McKissick. And Evan Locke somehow got a piece of it. Which is surprising. But that is how it worked out. Now Emily Howe battling with Jordan Barabee as Davila tries to make a move to get ahead of the 6 of Roberts. Making some headway. Roberts and Davila battling for 10th. The Argentinian moving forward. That 34 car, he's got some pace. Gets around your 3rd place in points. Roberts doing everything he can to scratch and claw his way to hold on to that top 10 spot. I think mentally he knows that his championship campaign is over. Try to scratch and claw for everything you can get. Davila, though, he is comfortable. He is comfy in that 34 car right now. He does clear out of this turn 2 attempt. And clear by a couple car lengths. For the back, 3 wide. Behind Christina Ryan, it's Barabee, Willett, and Alexander, all 3 wide. Alexander trying to complete his charge forward. Christina Ryan still looking for a top 10 finish. Only got 1 so far this season. That was in Michigan. Has not missed a race all season. 12th in points going into this behind Jose Solis Jr. Solis right now sitting in the 7th spot. So that looks set to sort of stay where it is as things stand. Having talked with Christina Ryan a little bit, frustrated. Frustration has been a recurring theme. Being able to acknowledge that she's driven her best season so far this season in Winstel, but the results haven't shown it. Having more top 10s last season, didn't race the full season last season. Missing out on a good points finish. Right, she's been at every race so far. You see that 24 starts going into the night, the final race of the season. That matters. That matters quite a bit. Gets her top 12 at the moment, and so far still safely so as things sit. But she continues to drop backwards a little bit here, burning off those Goodyear tires just a little bit too much here. Lost out to Ryan Hill and Tom Willett while we were focusing on her there. Austin Reedy struggling as well. That 77 car in the mix. Hayden Repas came down pit lane after tagging the wall. That was not a planned pit stop for the 89 car. Kyler Murray also bowing out of this race after making contact with the wall on the exit of turn 4. Damaging that car to the point where Kyler Murray did not feel feasible to return. So we're down to 30 cars on the lead lap, 31 cars total. $39 laps to go. Front of the field, we've not looked up there for about 20 laps. Larry Pace continues to lead the way over Christian Budd. Those 2 tires holding up pretty well for the 09 car. He knows how to get his way around here as the race winner from last season here in Atlanta. He's leading the championship hopefuls, though. Christian Budd 2nd and Jacob Potak in 3rd at the moment on their own little island. Nick Doucette up to 4th. And Jeremy Davis rounding out your top 5 so far. All spread out is Davis and then Solis in 6th. Sean Pellig in 7th. Brandon McKissick in 8th. Gabriel Mauricio in 9th. And Lucas Davila in your top 10. And you see all of them right there in the fray from 5th to 9th. Solis battling with Jeremy Davis at the moment, trying to get that top 5. Top 4 have left this group pretty high and dry. Caution has come out. Trying to figure out who it was for. It might be for Austin Reedy. It 100% is for Austin Reedy. There he is. And he is not alone in that either. But Austin Reedy, severely torn up race car. If we saw him struggling in that battle around the top 15. Jordan Barabee also involved. It looks like Coppinger's got a piece of it as well. Kirk Marble also might have got a piece of it too. So this is going to take a little bit of a look. This is Austin Reedy, the 77. This is on the front straightaway. Full speed. He gets loose. Oh, all by himself, trying to avoid Christina Ryan. Oh, hits Barabee hard. Kirk Marble slides. Chris Champeau gets clipped. Coppinger, I think, goes to the grass trying to avoid the melee. I don't think it worked out. It did not. So spotter cam, we're not focusing on the 77 Austin Reedy here. This is going to be good, though. A good chance to sort of throw back here from the spotter cam. And we'll slow it down. AB in slow motion, quarter speed. He's loose here. The skew on that car showing that he is fighting that car a lot still. Christina Ryan outside lane, the 88. Very easy for it to go bad there. He saves it, but he's still working on it here. See him still sawing at the wheel. Those hands not happy, and you're going to see the end result of it here. As he just never really has a chance to get the grip back into that car. Through the grass, just trying to avoid. Skips across the Legends track, that little bit of pavement. Hits the grass again, spins, coming back from the second trip in the grass. Nowhere for Jordan Barabee to go. He's picked his lane. You'll see here Brandon Coppinger, the 66. Sees the smoke, goes below the white line, well below the white line. I think grabs the grass a little bit here. Craig Lautenslager gets a piece of it, the 99. I think this is where he gets clobbered here. He's on the apron. Nothing that Lautenslager can do. Hard hit. Yep, that's where all the damage there comes through. So a pretty big accident, about 7, 8 cars involved. And enough damage there for Coppinger to have the hood of his car just fly up. Riding on board with the 77. Gets out of it. Sawing at the wheel. Topped a couple times there. And not a whole lot he can do. Coming back to green here in Atlanta. Third caution of the night. Multi-car crash there, triggered by Austin Reedy spinning on the front straightaway. Several cars involved. Jordan Barabee's day is done. Craig Lautenslager still on the pit lane. Hayden Repas laps down, but not a part of that accident. Several others wounded in that. Steinhauser, not one of those either. It is still in the hands of Larry Pace. Everyone took 4 tires on that last pit stop. Smart move there. Pace car takes the left-hand turn for the third restart of the night. It's Pace, Potak, and Bud, your top 3. Green flag flies once again in Georgia. And here comes Potak. A level footing. Potak's chance to go for a 7th race win this season. Gift wrap there. Pace not going to let him get clear out of turn 2. And this will require turn 3 and 4 to help settle. As we're on fresh tires, means it's time to move. 32 laps to go at the line. Pace leads that lap. You see the dichotomy between the two of them. Pace up near the fence, Potak on the white line. They meet in the middle on the back straightaway, and they will do it again in 3 and 4. Pace almost clear. Kotak staying right there on that quarter panel. Doing what they can. They will stay side by side and they will continue to fight. Christian Budd watching in third. Not a whole lot Christian Budd can do here. He's sitting in third. He just can't get up to the 22 and the 9 car at the moment. Larry Pace and Jacob Kotak. He's going to try the outside lane as they move to the bottom. Bit of a bobble there for Kotak into turn 1. He was really on it there, trying to get to the white line. They're going to duke it out. These two, it's come to life for us. There's not a lot of good feelings between the 09 and the 22. None of it really stemming from Winstel in particular. A lot of it comes from outside of Winstel and other events. These two, not fond of each other. A little bit harder racing here. Larry Pace trying not to let the 22 go by. Kotak not giving him much of a choice there. Send it right in there, almost up in the fence out of turn 2. Kotak gets clear, and Larry Pace now has a chance to respond. But Kotak strong-arming his way to the front of the field here. We talked about it. He didn't need a race win to do well and to grab that championship. He only needed 22nd. Anyone that tries to go for a championship, you typically want to win the race that you win the championship on. A little bit of selfish feeling there. You want to be the only one celebrating at the end of the night. And that's where he's at right now. Christian Budd just watching. He got around the 09. The 09 burned up his tires a little bit early. And Larry Pace now has to manage that with Solis and McKissick in the top 5 behind him. And that's not easy. Both of those drivers, they can wheel and deal. Nick Doucette in 6th, right there as well. And Mauricio in 7th, a little bit further back. Sean Pelleg in 8th. Hendrick Motorsport car is 6th, 7th, and 8th at the moment. Lucas Davila in 9th, and then Emily Howell, your top 10 as things sit at the moment. Battle for the race lead. Kotak and Budd side by side. Defending champion and champion hopeful. Battling for the race lead. Kotak, remember, he burned up his stuff a lot too. It wasn't just one-sided there for Larry Pace. For Christian Budd, 2 full here, the mental game. Try to pressure the 22 into a mistake. A very rare mistake, but a mistake nonetheless. But also just go out and win the race. Do everything you can, and the best thing you can do is win. Kotak wants to leave in no doubts in the table, as if there were any. 6 race wins, most of anybody in this season, and it's not close. Holds on to the race lead there. As the laps tick away on the Winstel season in 2025. You want to pull up the points as they run, coming to about 20 laps to go, or 23 laps to go right now. Gap extends over 100 laps as they currently sit. Kotak leading, Budd in 2nd. Dylan Roberts in 3rd. He's sitting 15th right now on the racetrack. Top 5 doesn't move, though, position-wise, as far as where they're at right now. Pelleg and Howe, 8th and 9th. They don't change hands as things sit. Mauricio, Doucette, they don't change hands either. Neither does Jeremy Davis. Neither does Brandon McKissick. Tyler Head not present here for this race. Either did not participate in hardly any of the chase in that 44 car. Stay 10th, and then obviously the battle outside the top 10. You look at Solis and Ryan. That battle looks to be pretty well kiboshed with Solis top 5 and Christina Ryan struggling to get top 15 here. McGee struggling as well. Ryan Hill in 13th. Kyle Benson in 15th place. Sort of give you a perspective of how that looks right now. Coming to 20 laps to go on the nose. So Potak controlling his own destiny and controlling it in style with flair. Leading the way in a race that he just needed to do well and finish 22nd or better. Qualified front row. It was Potak in second. Christian Budd grabbed pole. Larry Pace has been a game challenger, as we knew he would here in Atlanta once again. He sits third. He's led a good share of laps as well. Brandon McKissick in fourth. Jose Solis Jr. in the top 5. As talented as this group is, it is a firecracker top 5 because it can pop off in a hurry. The issue is that, and we've seen this conversation happen a lot here over the last several races, with the dirty air off this car being a lot more pronounced than the previous generation Gen 4 car that we saw. Once leaders got ahead, there's not a whole lot anyone can do to stop it. We saw the battle early on when everyone had fresh tires, that great equalizer. Potak, though, he knew his time was now. If he could get to the race lead and get around Pace and keep Pace at bay, it was going to be hard for anyone to stop it. Pit stops underway. That's another equalizer. There are going to be green flag pit stops if this continues to go green. Solis, Willett, Ryan, McGee, Cook, and Marble all down pit lane, the first comers to make that final pit stop here. You will go a lap down at Atlanta. The question is, does the caution come out mid-pit stop sequence? Or are we good to go? Solis from 5th was the highest up that took that pit stop here. Mauricio and Benson came down pit lane this time. You see Solis on the inside lane. He goes a lap down. And again, he was top 5. Anyone that pits in the top 5, you're going a lap down no matter what. Same can be said the further back you go. If you're too far back, someone, looking at Austin Reedy, Brandon Coppinger, you risk going 2 laps down, which is a problem. Those cars not in good health at the moment, though, as it sits. It must be said they have not completely prepared those cars from the caution, or the third caution, almost halfway through this race, about 25 laps ago. Top 4 stays out. Top 5 stays out as well, looking back to Nick Doucette. Coming to about 15 laps to go. Potak to the white line. I believe that is an indication that he might be getting ready to come down pit lane. And he is, and he's not alone. Pace comes down as well. Came down to the 55-mile-an-hour speed limit. Both of them made it in safely. So did Davila. New race leader, Christian Budd. A caution coming out now would be helpful for Christian Budd. It's not how we want the championship decided, but that's what Christian Budd wants right now. He needs a yellow at this point with Potak coming down pit lane early. It looks like the leader's coming in this time as well. It is the case. McKissick and Budd all down pit lane. McKissick coming in hot, makes it in safely at the 55-mile-an-hour zone. Emily Howe down pit lane. Sean Pellig, Evan Locke all down pit lane as well. Nick Doucette leads under the pit stop cycle. As the field rolls around, that is Larry Pace being passed by the race leader. Jacob Potak, importantly, not going a lap down in this exchange. Here comes the 24. In hot, in hot, in hot. Slid those tires hot. Makes speed limit. So did Ryan Hill. Chris Champeau, new race leader. Cars that are on pressure tires making their way around him. He's not going to fight them. They're not his conversation at all at the moment. That's McGee, that's Roberts, that's Ryan. Those 3 cars in line. Champeau gets the inside lane because I think he's coming in this time. He's led a lap. He's got those 5 bonus points. that he needs because he was outside the top 35 going in. He was 36th. Top 35 locks you into the first 4 races in 2026. And that's been important for Champeau. He's not had to qualify his way in like that in a while. See what he can do there. The 18 car, second lap led. Steinhauser, Snipes, and Bates have also yet to come down pit lane. It really goes down to Commentator in 7th. Solis, that undercut, that 3-lap undercut, gets him to the front of the field. But we see these tires wear out pretty dramatically. That might be a factor here as well, coming to 11 to go. More cars getting around the 18 of Champeau. And Champeau's on an island. The next car for position is Steinhauser, 9 seconds adrift. So this is him, quite literally, just running until it runs out. That's Benson getting around him. 21 of Tom Willett right behind him in the Wood Brothers machine, trying to get his lap back. Willett is 18th at the moment. He'll end up top 15 pretty easily once the top 7 come down pit lane. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, the 21 car of Willett will actually end up 12th. If I'm not mistaken, 12th, 13th. See how that plays out. And then if a late caution happens here, coming to 9 laps to go, that shakes everything up. There's Nick Doucette. There's Emily Howe coming up on the 18 car to get unlapped here. We thought things were okay for Lucas Davila. He made it down pit lane okay. Had to come back in to serve a stop and go for unsafe pit exit. The 34 cars day goes from good to bad in a hurry late on in this race. He is down in the 28th position. Eight laps to go. The question's increasingly becoming, can the 18 hold on for 8 more laps? The answer that's probably no. Commentator down pit lane this time. We'll see if Champeau comes down or not. He's staying out here. He's not battling those coming up around him. He's got a decent amount of leverage on the rest of the field. Protak's gotten around Solis, as has Larry Pace. Champeau up near the fence. He is trying to let these cars go by. He needs them to go. Car in the fence, that is the 16 on Marble. And I think Champeau coming down pit lane. Yes, he is. So is Marble. And that will hand the lead off to potentially Corey Steinhauser, maybe. Yes, it will. Champeau in the pit lane. Steinhauser, the 55, leads a lap. Steinhauser and Davis have yet to come down pit lane. Coming to 5 laps to go. Jeremy Davis, remember, stayed out. Has not had a great run of it so far. Has been caught up by your championship leader in this battle for the race lead. Steinhauser down pit lane this time. It'll be Jeremy Davis at the front. Protak and Pace, second and third. But the 4 car needs a pit stop with 5 laps to go. Jacob Protak has been on fire this season. 6 race wins, looking for a 7th, en route to a championship for the first time in Winstel competition. Larry Pace tried to deny him the race win, sitting a half second behind the 22. 4 laps to go. Davis goes low, Protak goes high. Davis struggling here scaring Potak, but Potak gets clear. Davis was trying to go for it. I feel like the 4-car might be okay to go to the end. He's racing with the race leaders like he's battling for position here. 3 laps to go. That's 4.5 miles that he's got to go. He might have it. Up top lane, if he's saving fuel, you're running the bottom of the racetrack as much as you can. That's the shortest way around. That's the easiest way to save fuel. Goes to the bottom of the racetrack in 3 and 4, but so did everybody else. And here comes the 4 down pit lane. So he is coming down pit lane. Could not go the final 3 laps. Potak in the clear. Larry Pace watching the 22 set off from distance. Christian Budd ends up being promoted to 3rd place here with 2 laps to go. Solis, McKissick top 5. Coming around for the white flag. Potak called a shot over a year ago. With 1 lap to go, he's got 1.5 miles. To fulfill that call he made back in August of 2024 when he said he wanted to go for a championship next year. That was here. That was this season. He put everyone on notice. No one thought about it. He kept hold of it. And to 3 and 4 for the final time, he's going to do what he sought out to do almost 18 months ago. Jacob Potak wins at Atlanta. He's a Winstel Cup Series champion. Jacob Potak, champion of the Winstel Cup Series in 2025, grabs the race win. Larry Pace finishes 2nd. And the former champion, Christian Budd, from last season, will be the first to run up to congratulate the newest to wear Winstel's wreath in 2025. And he will celebrate on the front straightaway, winner and champion. A moment in time achieved for the 22 in a season where the owner of this car in real life, Phil Davis, passed away earlier this year. This car saw success in real life at the hands of Ward Burton, Daytona 500 winner. Race wins with Burton, with Dave Blaney. Here in the Winstel Cup Series, Jacob Potak gets it to its highest heights. A championship victory in 2025, 7 race wins, 7 pole positions. And he will celebrate till that car gives out and enjoy becoming champion of the world. We'll talk to our podium finishers and our champion in a moment. We'll grab your full race results here. Potak and Pace, 1-2 there at the punch. No love lost between the two of them, but they race fair, they race clean all night long. That's what you want to see from 2 rivals on the racetrack. Potak getting the best of the Canadian driver who finished 2nd. His Atlanta results here in Winstel have been pretty impeccable. Larry Pace, we'll talk to him in a moment. Christian Budd in 3rd, former champion of the series, finishing 3rd. Did everything he could do, but it would not be enough here tonight. Brandon McKissick in 4th. Jose Solis Jr. in the top 5. McKissick, your biggest leader tonight, 25 spots gained from where he started this race. He started this race down in the 29th position. Hedrick Motorsports gets 2 of its cars in the top 10 in the form of Gabriel Mauricio and Nick Doucette, 6th and 7th. Dylan Roberts in 8th. Brendan McGee gets the top 10 to end off the season in 9th. Emily Howell finishes in the 10th position here tonight. Christina Ryan, story of her season. Only 1 top 10 so far. It remained that way tonight. 11th place ahead of Sean Pellig. Kyle Benson, Ryan Hill, Tom Willett, your top 15. Evan Locke, Parker Alexander, Corey Cook, Chris Champeau, and Ken Huff rounding out your top 20 here in Atlanta, the final race of the season. Alex Bates, Corey Steinhauser, Brandon Coppinger, Austin Reedy, all a lap down. This green flag pit stops, penalties from those pit stops. Philip Snipes, Lucas Davila, Jeremy Davis, Hayden Repas, and Kirk Marble rounding out the top 29. Marble did not complete the last 5 laps of this race. He ended up sitting out the remainder after wrecking coming down pit lane. Craig Lautenslager, one of the DNFs there. In total, there are 6 with Marble and Lautenslager. Jordan Barabee, Tyler Murray, and Matt Skipper, Andrew Griesbaum, the final cars there. We'll go over the full points after interviews here. We do want to talk to our drivers that finished on the podium here tonight. They did an extraordinary job. While we get everything ready to go for those interviews, we have more racing tomorrow night. It is the HTL Cup Series from a track very similar to this, but also quite different. Texas Motor Speedway tomorrow night, 8:15 p.m. Eastern, right here on Twitch on ABN. We hope you join us for that race tomorrow night as well. That being said, we do have some interviews to do. We'll talk firstly to the third place driver and second place in the championship, who did everything that he could tonight, and it just simply was not enough. That'd be Christian Budd here in just a moment. We're having some audio issues, so we'll see if we can get all of that rectified. So bear with us for a moment. And we'll go ahead and talk to Christian Budd here. And Christian, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Fantastic race. Obviously a little bit of chaos there with the cautions, but we got a little bit of everything. Green flag pit stops, a lot of good running. Obviously, the task was tall tonight, trying to go for the championship, knowing how good the 22 car has been. Walk us through your race, though. Pole position, you gave yourself every fighting chance tonight.
Yeah, I mean, getting the championship would have pretty much required Jake to probably crash or maybe speed on pit road and take himself out or something, and then I'd still have to have led the most laps and win the race. So I just focused on trying to win the race tonight. You know, I didn't really feel like the championship was really something that I should be concerning myself with too much. And I tried, and then once you lose the lead, you know, it's just so hard to get it back with these cars. I mean, it's, you know, your chance is on the restart, and the nail in the coffin. I lose a spot to Potak on pit road, and then, you know, he was able to, you know, if you're able to like mix it up like real early after the restart, him and Larry were able to kind of battle there. But once he got out in front, I mean, it's just, you just can't do anything. It's probably the worst aero car I've ever driven, which is really frustrating. So, but we got third, and that's how the season's going to end. Congratulations to Jake. He ran a really good race, really good season. I mean, you know, if I did win it tonight, it would have been stealing it from him. So, you know, he definitely should have been the one holding the trophy at the end of all this.
Obviously, the season for you, obviously, you talk about the frustration, not being able to make moves happen once the race was underway. We talked about that actually during the broadcast, just how the Dirty Air played out. It seemed like being third in line, it almost looked like an IndyCar race with how distant it was from the top two there. You get to put this car in the rearview mirror. 2007, everyone's a lot more upbeat. Everyone's got a lot more of a sort of an interest into next season, and you carry a lot of good momentum into that. Ending off this season on a high note, how important was that for you personally, as far as just kind of getting ready for next year, kind of making sure that there's some good things to hold on to for the season, knowing that it's going to be behind you and you've got a lot of better things ahead? Because the work, for those that haven't followed Winstel on like social media, Twitter or Facebook, a lot of work's being going into 2007. You're a lot of driving force behind that as far as the behind the scenes stuff. How exciting is that, being able to end on a high note and knowing you've got a good chance to start 2007 the same way?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to end with the top 5. You know, I mean, I felt like last week, you know, ran really well, finished second. This week ran really well, finished third. You know, won some races this year. I mean, overall, for me, the year's been, I mean, it's kind of funny actually. Once we went to this car, my season did kind of turn around a little bit. Just have a lot of bad luck, but you know, it's every year's different, and you go into every year. Everybody's got a clean slate. Obviously, I'd like to perform at a high level. I'd like to win more races, but it's hard to win. It's these guys in here and girls are real competitive, and they're not going to just let you have it. And that's why I like doing this, though, because it makes it fun. Because you work really hard and you earn your wins and your championships, and your top fives, frankly. So yeah, it feels really good. 2007. I'm really excited about 2007. I'm felt like when I talked to the rest of the admin team about this, and we really felt like if we were going to do a 2007 season, it needed to be this year. With that car going legacy for the Gen 4 car, and it's unfortunate. I wish it had been a little more viable to run this car and run 2000 like we wanted to, but it's just been a lot of issue after issue with it. And so looking forward to going back to the old car. I like how it drives. It races well. It really rewards, not just track position, but talent and skill. And that's what I'm looking forward to. And then the COT is going to be just a whole other beast, and it should be a lot of fun. I think the short tracks with that car is going to be really something to see, and I'm really looking forward to that.
A lot of fun to come up here in 2026 with the 2007 throwback season coming up. Christian Budd, second place in the championship, third place tonight. Before we let you go, obviously a huge list of people to shout out here across the season. If there's anyone particular you want to shout out, the floor is yours. Congrats again on a fantastic season. 3 race wins, 10 top fives, 15 top 10s. Send off the year.
Yeah, just thank wife and kids, mom and dad for watching and having fun seeing all this happen. You at ABN doing all the broadcasting stuff. The broadcasts are top notch. I hope people who've been watching this year really have been enjoying the show. Everybody over at Winstel, the old admin team, I can tell you there's a lot of excitement for this upcoming season. So that's in the admin team too. So really happy with that. All the drivers who showed up this year, these races don't happen without the drivers, and we've had really good attendance all year. So thanks to them. And then outside of that, just again to Jake for winning the whole thing.
Outstanding job for Christian Budd, your former champion, handing off the trophy to Jacob Potak here tonight. 3 race wins. Again, a fantastic season with 2007 looming, and also a chance to go back and win the Winstar 400 in January. Christian, congratulations, and we'll talk to you again very soon.
Thank you so much.
That was Christian Budd, your third place finisher here tonight. We will move right on along to second place, Larry Pace, former winner of this race, the defending winner going into tonight's race. The gripes with this car, Christian Budd kind of laid it out. Larry Pace gets to kind of echo that. Second place, after battling for the race lead, Jacob Potek was able to sort of waltz forward and waltz away at that final run after the pit stop there. But walk us through your race. That 09 car, as we expected, was going to be a front runner and a thorn in the championship leader side.
Yeah, it was a fun one for sure. I got a couple good runs in there and was able to nab the lead with a 2-tire call that almost backfired like amazingly. I was running out of fuel. I wasn't going to be able to pit and get enough fuel to go to the end, so my race was going to be over, and the caution came out as I was going to pit. So that kind of saved my race, so I got lucky there, so I was happy to be able to stay in it. After that point, though, I just was going to need track position. It was really, really difficult to pass anybody in the top 5. If they would have been out front, it would have been kind of hard to take it from them if we were all going flat out. But had a lot of fun. Yeah, it was a fun season and fun race.
Obviously, a lot of energy high here. Last race of the season being a track that I think a lot of people here adore. We saw that 34 cars tonight. That doesn't happen without people being really interested in this track in itself, being able to race it again. For you, we talked to you last time you were on the podium here. I think we talked to you last time you got your race win earlier in the season, of just the general concerns about this car. Being able to put this car in a rear view and ending it on a high note before going back to the former car. We call it old gen, but it's the 2007 spec Gen 4 car. Looking at that next season, what is the excitement level for you as far as ending off the season on a good note heading into next year, knowing that that is a car that you have a lot more of an affinity for and a lot more handle on?
Yeah, I basically, like you said, echo everything Christian said. I can't say anything about this car that hasn't already been said, and really excited to end the year strong. You know, I had kind of a tumultuous year. Couldn't put a good finish together for a chunk of the summer, and then the last handful of races there, it's a few podiums and a win, and yeah, pretty happy with that, and really excited about the next season. I think it's going to be super fun, switching back and forth between the Gen 4 and COT. I hope I can run more races. I really want to run a full season in Winstel. It's just life gets in the way sometimes, but really hoping to run more than I did this year.
17 races, not a bad tally, though. A second place in off the run there of races in this car, but about a mix back and forth there between the old gen and the current Gen 4, in a second place at a track that has treated you so well in your career here, not only in Winstel, but outside of Winstel as well. 2007 coming up here. Going to be exciting to see that car running again. Hopefully, we get to see you in that '09 again, doing some magic that we saw that '09 team, that Phoenix Racing team doing before. Before we let you go and obviously let you enjoy your night and get ready for the off season, if there's anyone shout and say thank you to you, congratulations on the run. A lot of fun seeing you jump in and battling. And as you mentioned, hopefully we get to see you run as close to full time as possible next year too.
Yeah, thanks very much. So I had a blast tonight. I had a blast most of the season, even with this car being what it is. It's a great group of guys. Yeah, just shout out to the drill aisle. Shout out to everybody at Winstel, everybody that puts this together. I know it's a lot of work that goes into getting this series going, and really thankful get to come here and get to race and have a lot of fun. You know, it's not often you get to pop in somewhere and have this level of fun and be around the same people every week, and it's just a really cool deal. So big thanks to Winstel for everything they do. Yourself, Carmen, great job all season, and hopefully look forward to hearing you next year.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it as well. Can't wait for next season. The 2007 throwback. Larry Pace will be there, as we hope most season will, most of the field will be from this year. Larry, enjoy it. And again, congratulations on the second place tonight.
Thanks very much. Take care.
That was Larry Pace, second place finisher here tonight. And then we get to move right on along. We got one person to talk to. We got two more people to talk to. We'll talk to the new Winstel Cup Series champion, Jacob Potok. We'll talk to Brendan McGee, the I guess we call him the chairman of Winstel after this. But it is the man of the hour, the champion of the series for the first time, a man who called a shot almost 18 months ago on ABN programming. A moment in history secured, a championship secured, 7 race wins. You have 16 top fives in this race, in this season. Almost realistically, two-thirds of the season, you were in the top 5, which is incredible. Walk us through sort of how, now you've had a chance to sort of process and digest those feelings. Walk us through sort of what the feeling is like for you here, being able to secure a moment that seems so far away so long ago and never seemed like it was getting closer until today.
Yeah, but you said it. I mean, long time coming. I did a lot of years in this series where the competition level was so high, and I just was not even close to that level where I thought I'd be lucky if I ever got a win. So this was definitely not even a thought in the deepest reaches of the mind at a time. So I'm really over the moon, excited, and just had so much fun this whole season too. I mean, that's just the best part of it, is not even just how much of an accomplishment it feels like, but just how much fun of accomplishment it was to go get. So just so happy and excited to be able to watch it all back too later.
Absolutely excited to be here all season to watch it take place here. We get to see a little bit more of you in the off season racing in the Aero Car series, the throwback Indy cars later on this fall. It's been magical watching this season. We knew how good you were when you were racing part-time and still grabbing those race wins, whether it was on a road course, whether it was on an oval. You were always in that forefront of competition here, racing full-time. We talk about you calling your shot, that moment that at the time, no one thought anything about it. Everyone's like, okay, yeah, sure. Everyone says that. you had the momentum, you had the talent behind it, you had the energy behind it, and then it starts falling into place, and it falls into place early. Once we get out of Daytona, once we start looking at the early part of the season, the 22 car moves a little bit. And you talk about all the effort that you put in to try to put all that into place. It meant a lot to see this happen. Obviously, and we talked about on the broadcast a little bit ago, this is a car, Bill Davis Racing, whose owner passed away this season. Never got to see a championship at this level in real life. Got some race wins with Ward Burton, with Ryan Blaney. You get to, in virtual form in Winstel, get that car a championship. And you won the race the weekend that Bill Davis passed away to begin with. It seemed like it was a bit of a storybook season for that 22 car. Did it feel, once the season started getting into the later stretches, once the chase started, and it seemed like that 22 car was just a little bit more impervious to the controversy and the drama that happens on the racetrack, did it seem like the storybooks, the Cinderella story, I guess, was beginning to kind of take effect there for that car?
Yeah, it felt like a lot of different stages of it come into effect, but I mean, early in the season was awesome, and then summer stretch had not as much momentum, but the fact I was able to get it rolling right before the chase started was great, and then the chase started great, and yeah, right when the chase started, that was when Bill Davis passed away, and I felt like at that point you got to do it, got to make it happen, but it's still, there was always the thought in the back of my mind, like, a couple bad races is all it takes, especially when that chase started. Everyone, the competition tightened up so much. Like Christian and Dylan did a really, really good job keeping me honest. I never felt comfortable at all really till after Talladega. So it always felt like it could go away at any moment. So just had to keep pushing and keep the momentum flowing while it was still there and enjoy it the whole time too. And that's definitely what we did.
And obviously, we know that the point order determines, for the most part, the number selection. Obviously, I think uh, financial backers get first pick, which is why you see some drivers get the first choice there. But then after that, it is on you becoming the first pick for your car selection. We kind of have an idea. I'm not going to spoil it here because they'll do a full reveal after the Winstel 400 in January. What's the excitement level for that? Because this was a car you were kind of just shoehorned into. You didn't have a high pick from last season. You got to see this car out with the championship with 7 race wins. How excited are you for being able to lead the charge and
Yeah, I'm super excited. 2007 season, that was the first season I ever watched all of the races or tried to make an effort to. It really feels like the beginning of my love of the sport. So really excited to go into it with getting the car I want. And yeah, 22 was definitely not the top of my list, but I really fell in love with it once it started and felt like I wanted to do it justice. So felt like that job is done, and the 22 was going to be a vehicle for me getting really my dream pick in Winstel. So made it happen, and super, super proud, and always going to have love for that 22 car as well, though.
an outstanding job for Jacob Potak in that 22 camp here this season. 7 race wins, 16 top 5, 17 top 10s, 7 pole positions, and one of the most dominant Winstel seasons to date, and a championship to boot, as it should have been, given those stats on the numbers alone here. Before we let you go and thoroughly enjoy the championship that you've earned tonight, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congratulations once again. It was fantastic being able to watch it happen across the 24 races that you raced this season. Almost perfect season for you there in terms of the starts. And we can't wait to see you come back again next season and try to defend it.
Thanks so much, Carmen. Obviously, as always, first thanks goes to you and everybody at ABN. Make it so much more fun than it would be if we were just going out here and running just for the kick of it. So thanks to you, and got to thank Christian and Brennan and everybody, Emily for the great setups, everybody that makes Winstel happen, everybody for coming out and racing, everybody for watching. I got to thank my mom, my stepdad, my grandma, my aunt. They're watching, and just thanks to everybody that makes it as fun as it is.
Jacob Potak, your 2025 Winstel Cup Series champion, 7 race wins, including right here tonight in Atlanta. Jacob, congratulations. And I know we'll see you again in ABN and Aero Car here in a couple weeks. But again, enjoy it and celebrate. Don't celebrate too awful hard because fall coming up pretty quick.
Thanks, Carmen.
Outstanding there for Jacob Potak here tonight. Outstanding work for everyone in the Winstel crowd going into this event. We do have one more person to talk to here. We've talked to our podium interviewers here. For those that are not familiar with ABN's coverage of Winstel, Winstel chairman Brendan McGee finished 9th place tonight, did a fantastic job. He wanted to have a chance to sort of say thank you to everyone here as well. It's been a lot of fun watching this season from start to finish, from Daytona all the way back in March, all the way here to Atlanta in October. With that being said, I think we're going to hand the microphone off to Brendan McGee, the Winstel chairman, who wanted to give some closing remarks on this season that has been largely successful, one of the best that I've seen across everything we've done in ABN over the last 10 years.
Well, hello. I guess I had the first interview of the year by winning the Daytona 500, and I guess I'll have the last interview of the year, even though I didn't win anything tonight. But I do want to thank everybody from you guys at ABN, because like I said, it's a lot of work even in the background, even before broadcast goes up and even after. And thank everybody else that showed up to all these races. We had pretty good car counts throughout the majority of the year. Thank all the admins that help in the background, because there's a lot of hours of work that go on every single week in the background. Thank Emily for making the setups every week, because that takes time, knowledge, which built up over the years to be able to apply it to this. Thanks to Tyler. The same thing for helping with the tickers, of course, and you guys. So definitely a lot of stuff happens in the background. A lot of spreadsheets go on in the background. A lot of little nitpicky stuff that a lot of people never ever get to see, that never really gets called out. But there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle that makes the league go together, especially a league this size, and be able to run the way it does. So a huge thank you to everybody. Huge congratulations to Jake Potak on winning the championship tonight. I think we all thought he was going to win the championship going into the race. Let's be honest, he's had an excellent year. That is his 6th or 7th win, if I remember right. So
7. Yep.
He'll definitely get a good payout. He'll have a good payout when once the purse gets paid out here the next couple of weeks and all that fun stuff. But yeah, overall, solid season. Definitely looking forward to next year. There's a lot of excitement from the admin team and quite a few of the drivers as well going into next year for the 2007 season, as we actually bring back the former Gen 4 car that iRacing had, which you won't see too many of the aero problems that you've been seeing on the racetrack here the last 10 or the last 15 races since we've had this car. And also, we're going to have the car tomorrow, so you're going to see some extremely high straightaway speeds at the races that car goes to, and also the short tracks, which that car, I got to say, from the testing we've done, you can certainly lay the bumper to somebody anywhere you go with that. So expect a lot more car-to-car contact next year.
And obviously, next season, everyone's excited for 2007. Being able to kind of break things down a little bit here, kind of looking into this and everything Winstel's going to be doing here. 20 races next season, if I'm not mistaken here. So a slightly shorter calendar here. We had 25 this season, 20 next year for 2007. A mixture, as you mentioned, of the COTs, mostly on the short tracks and the road courses, but there's a couple tracks that are going to have COTs that didn't in 07, which is going to be a lot of fun. I think Fontana was being added to that rotation as a COT race, so we're looking at 215 mile-an-hour speeds, I think, if I saw testing numbers right.
Probably close to 10. Fontana's not quite as fast as Michigan. Then we got Kansas on there, and we also have Las Vegas. So I think all three of those tracks at the regular track's going to be one's to watch, that's for sure.
A lot of excitement there for 2007, and obviously the Winstel 400, looking at the 15th edition of that race coming up here in January. For those that may be watching that maybe aren't familiar with Winstel, what's the timelines as far as being able to jump in, not only for the 2007 season coming up, because the drivers from this season get first car selection choice. We mentioned that when talking to Potak, because he was excited for that in particular, but kind of walk through sort of what that looks like, not only for next season for 2007, but also for the Winstel 400 and what the plans are for that event coming up.
Is the Winstel 400 the 14th or the 15th? I've honestly lost count.
Coming up on 15th.
It's insane that we're coming up to that many. So timeline-wise, what you're looking at is over the next couple weeks, the drivers that participated this year and are still active which I believe is 50 of them. They'll be able to select their car before sign-ups go up for the public. So the way that functions actually is everybody based on their season standings and based on their donations. So people have donated money to Winstel to help us run, because let's be honest, it's not free to get a broadcast or pay out winnings, right? It's not. So a lot of donations help us make it to the end of every year, and bless those people, because wasn't for them, we wouldn't make it. So they get a bit of a boost from the donations as well. So we line everybody up in accordance to where they're supposed to be. And then everybody's supposed to pick three plus car numbers. So Potak will get first dibs, for example, and then Bud will get second dibs, so on and so forth. So even if you're 20th, 25th in points, and you think that, and let's just say for fun that you wanted the Dale Earnhardt Jr. car, well, you never know. Someone, the first 18, 19 people may not pick Dale Jr. Put down that car that you want. So that'll take course over the next couple of weeks. And then we're probably looking at middle of November for signups for the 2007 Winstel Cup Series season. And then about a week after that, you're probably going to have signups for the Winstel 400. So again, looking at a $1,000 purse in that race this year, since the first Sunday in January is a little bit earlier this year. We're looking at January 4th. So we're going to kind of break it up. So we'll have speed weeks again, which will be nice. So we'll have pole qualifying presented by Brandon Cruz DFS on December 28th, before the new year, actually. And then we will have the heats on Saturday the 3rd, and then the January 3rd, and then we'll have the Winstel 400 on Sunday, January 4th, is what things are looking like. I have yet to finalize that, but that is the date that it looks like we're going to go with, and that will once again be the trustworthy 2021 Gen 6, which has put on some amazing racing the last few years.
We're excited for it. We're excited to be here for all of it going into 2026 as well. Brennan, you got to be a part of a fantastic season. Got to win the Daytona 500 to open up the year as well. We got a top 10 finish to end off the season, and one of your best points finishes. You finished 10th in points last season. You get to hold on to a pretty good finish. I think 13th was the points finish for you here this season, unofficially. You talk about it in everyone that helps make all of this run. I'll go ahead and kind of shout some of those names out here. Philip Snipes, Alex Bates, Christian Budd. You talked about Tyler Head, Parker Alexander, the 89 Hayden Repus, all of them a part of helping some of the background stuff here as well. Huge helps across the entire season. If there's anyone else you want to shout and say thank you to across this season, the floor is yours. It's a lot of fun being here in Winstel, and we're looking forward to it again next year as well, not only for the Winstel 400, the 15th edition in 2026, but also the 2007 throwback season coming up here, I believe, starting in March next year.
Yeah, looks like probably March 1st, I think, is going to be our first race. Is that probably the date we're going to be going with? But of the names you mentioned, like Course 2, thank you for being here every week, because that's a big time commitment as well. Huge thank you to Emily again for the setups, because without her it'd be a bit more challenging for us, let's be honest. So she helps a lot, even beyond setup, sometimes with the bigger decisions too, as far as the league goes. Like I said, no decision is made without the pros and the cons being weighed out on what is a good decision, what's not going to be a good decision. So sometimes changes can take a little long to make, but it's because you're thinking about all the intricacies and all that fun little stuff in the background. But yeah, next year is going to be very exciting, guys. Definitely tune in or sign up to race. It is a $10 entry fee, and I'd say the vast majority of people end up making the money back by the end of the season, because the way the prize structure works, if you win a race, you get $10. The top 5, you get $2.50. And then there's also championship purse as well. And as long as you finish inside the top 35, you're guaranteed at least $5 of your money back. And plus, you get to have a good old time racing every Sunday. And quite honestly, probably one of the more competitive leagues out there. Like, we have iRating ranges all the way from 7 and 8K down to the 16, 1700s. But vast majority of people are very clean racers. We can put on a good show, and it doesn't matter what your iRating is. You will fit somewhere in the field, and you're probably going to be set out to have a good time.
We got to see all of that here on display across 25 races this season. Brennan, again, congratulations on another successful Winstel Cup Series season. Thank you for coming in here and closing out the season with us here on ABN, and we're excited to bring everything back again next year as well. Congratulations on your run tonight as well, getting that top 10 finish, and hopefully we get to talk to you
9 for
again.
9 for the car number 9, and I'll bring it back next year. His 07 paint scheme outside of his rookie year is actually my favorite Casey Kane paint scheme, so I'm ready.
And we are as well. The Winstel Cup Series season comes to a close. Jacob Potak, your champion in 2025, and we get to see who's going to challenge next for the 2007 Throwback season, who can master both the Gen 4 and the COT next year. Brendan, thank you so much. It's been an honor, and it's going to be an honor coming back next year as well. Thank you. And that will do it for us here in the Winstel Cup Series season in 2025. Jacob Potak, the champion, gets to lead the next campaign in 2026. We're happy for him. We're happy for everyone that got through the season here. And as Brendan McGee mentioned earlier, over 50 drivers confirmed returning in some capacity, full-time or part-time, for 2026. The Winstel 400 registration opens up before Thanksgiving in November. We hope to see you all then. We hope to see you tomorrow as well. HTL Cup Series action, race 9 of the season. The season's flying by on Mondays. Texas Motor Speedway. Gonna be a lot of fun. 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow right here on Twitch for ABM. On behalf of everyone here for Winstel, the Winstel Cup Series, all of its partners, E83 Flying Machines, and everyone here at ABN Studios, I'm Carmen Sienna. Thank you all so much for a fantastic season. We'll see you again tomorrow night. Stay safe and stay healthy. See you in the Lone Star State, everybody.